making profit? So these all are questions, and there is a one solution, that is our Indian knowledge system. Our ancestors, they also faced similar dilemmas, though in different forms. Like, and their solution, definitely they are documented in the form of, like, we have philosophy, we have mathematics, Ayurveda, governance. Are they, all these things that is part of our Indian knowledge system, they all are still relevant in today's context, and we actually need the concept of Indian knowledge system. And although we have started or inculcating the concept of Indian knowledge system that I am going to discuss with you in our coming slides, like, we all are, and definitely one of the social media platforms. What social media gives us, it allows instant connection with our, known person, unknown persons, family, friends, or, unknown person also. But it also generates misinformation. And that is where we need our, Indian knowledge system, that we actually need wisdom. So I'm talking about Indian wisdom that urges us to pause, reflect, and act responsibly. And that we actually need, that is responsible use of these digital technology that we actually require. So over the next 60 minutes, our journey, your journey with me, we are, definitely connecting. We try to connect our ancient wisdoms to the digital realities. So the first thing that comes in my mind, that why I have chosen this topic, and why now? Because, the world, not only I'm talking about India, but the entire world is at a crossroads. On one hand, we are talking about technology, new technological things, digital technology that has created miracles, like, in a form of instant messaging. If talking about the field of healthcare, that remote surgeries, AI is solving many problems in few seconds. Even, they're solving a lot of I can, definitely very, sensitive things also. But on the other hand, that is their positive view. But we're talking about, on the other hand, it has created, a lot of problems like burnout, loneliness. And if you're talking about AI-based, AI-generated information that leads to fake news or some ethical crisis. So that is where we require our Indian knowledge system. That Indian knowledge system in the digital era, it offers balance. What kind of balance? For example, you must have heard about the principle of dharma, that brings, that is basically reflected responsibility. And the dharma teaches responsibility in every action. That is, of course, our Indian knowledge system offers us. The second thing is that idea of yoga. Now, not only individual or Indian people, now entire world definitely recognize the importance of yoga, and that is actually we have given to the entire world. That is the importance of idea of yoga, that is related to inner balance, right? So it teaches balance between body, mind, and of course the spirit. And the next thing that Indian knowledge system offers us, that is Panch Mahabhutas. Panch Mahabhutas is definitely remind us to live as, harmony with nature. That's why we are actually creating the word, we are heard everywhere. We must have seen that word sustainability, green marketing, green technology, green environment, recycling. These words are trending today. That we are actually trying to save our environment, save our, nature, our nature. That is our attempt. And that ideas basically was offered by our Indian knowledge system. So these ideas are not outdated. They are more urgent than ever in this digital first world. So, like, for example, World Health Organization, they reports that 30% rise in digital burnout after, definitely, post pandemic. Indian IT companies, all information technology, IT stands for information technology, these IT based companies have included yoga in their daily schedules. And definitely not only Indian IT companies, I think, in entire world, they have started using as I said, that started using practicing yoga, whether in their even in their office spaces also. And one more example is that in that is part of our country, Kerala. Kerala ran digital detox Sundays, that urging families to engage in, a lots of activities like storytelling, games. What they are trying to do, they are basically trying to connect with our Indian knowledge system, because we all are facilitating, we all are utilizing that digital tools. But how we can connect, how we can, connect our Indian knowledge system by using digital tools or digital things. A lot of softwares we are using, a lot of different IT technology or different technological platforms we all are using these days. So that is one of the reasons. Second is, you can see on the screen, balancing technology with the ethics and wisdom, and that we all need the wisdom and ethical concern these days, today's. So technology is a, we can say, yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the screen is there in the first slide itself, ma'am. Can you please change the slide?
This is second slide.
No, ma'am, it's still there in the first slide.
Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, it's changed, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
The second thing is that the second reason is balancing technology. Technology is a double-edged sword. So it gives us power. That is okay. But not necessarily with wisdom. And that we all need. That is wisdom. So let's discuss one example. Artificial intelligence or its different application, whether it's a neural network, expert system, as I said, big data, they can detect diseases early. And they have a, actually played or a very important role in healthcare industries, that we accept. That is wonderful. But the same artificial intelligence and its tools, they can be used for the purpose like for surveillance or spreading misinformation. And of course they, many times they have generated misinformation, wrong information, and that creates a lot of issues in our daily life, in our personal life, or we can say that in our, basically in the entire world. So who decides that what is ethical, what is right, what is wrong? Of course we all are using AI now, chatbots, ChatGPT. We cannot even imagine our life without these kind of technological tools. But who are going to decide that what is the right use of these technology? I'm talking about the ethics. So here again it comes with the basically the concept of Indian knowledge system. That is basically our Indian knowledge system, Indian philosophy, especially the Nyaya and Vedanta system. You must have heard about that our ancestors used. They emphasized on the two important point, that is right information and the right use, and that is basically the concept of ethics. That means, of course, that right information, the right knowledge, the right data we need, but that should be used in some right and in right manner, or you can say in a way of how we can use all these things in a ethical manner. So it is basically connected how we all connect this right knowledge with right use. So ancient Indian philosophy stressed valid reasoning, that is basically with the help of Nyaya, and Dharma, which emphasize on responsible action. So we can say that technology must be used in a way that uplifts humanity but not enslaves it. So now the important word comes out from technology, that is ancient intelligence, that we all need. Ancient intelligence. That means the values and the wisdom that guides its use. So that is the two most important, or you can say a basic reason behind choosing this topic. Now, next slide is visible now. So today's session, is it visible now?
No, ma'am. Third slide.
You again have to show.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Okay. So next thing is that today's session has 4 major objectives that you can see on the screen. To understand the foundation of Indian knowledge system, what do you understand by Indian knowledge systems, what are their important pillars of Indian knowledge system that we are going to discuss today. And we are trying to map the landscape of digital age. That means we are trying to connect our ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge with that new technological era, or you can say new technological tools. And definitely we try to explore intersections where the old meets with the new one. Fine. And then we are trying to reflect that there is a, if we're trying to integrate our Indian knowledge system and with technology, whatever we are using in a form of technology. So if we are integrating both things, that is basically the practice of synergy. And that synergy can create a sustainable, smart future for me and for you all. But how? That we are going to discuss in our coming slide. So this is not about just a theory. It's a practical wisdom that we should realize, that how we can inculcate the concept, the basic things of Indian knowledge system in our daily life. I'm talking about other thing. It starts with our individual's life. So Indian knowledge system. So next is basically talking about Indian knowledge system. Now the next slide is talking about the philosophy, the most important pillar of Indian knowledge system. So first we should know that what do you understand by Indian knowledge system, what it offers to us. So Indian knowledge system are the accumulated intellectual, scientific. I'm using the most important thing, that important terminologies related to our Indian knowledge system, that is scientific, that is intellectual, that is cultural contribution that they have introduced or included in as a part of Indian things. So that is basically from the Vedas to the Upanishads to the Chanakya's Arthasastra that you must have heard about, from Ayurveda to yoga, or you can say from Aryabhat mathematics to Panini's grammar. They all have contributed in our Indian knowledge system with some new thing. So Indian knowledge system covers science, philosophy, art, definitely governance, and wonderful practices of medicines, medical industry, and many more. And unlike fragmented knowledge, Indian knowledge system is holistic, and definitely it is integrated. So that exactly what the digital age also need. We also need, that is integration. And integration of what that I've just shared with you, integration of technology with our Indian knowledge system. And that is actually need of today's context. So for example, one of the important pillar of this Indian knowledge system, that is Ayurveda. Ayurveda connects medicine to diet, to lifestyle, and of course to the environment that Ayurveda suggests. It try to remove the any disease from the root, because and that is the Ayurveda offers us, not a quick solution that AI gives us. No, that they are trying to remove the problem, remove the issues, remove the disease. It can be anything from the root. Fine. So it never comes again. So that is the important ruler of Ayurveda. That is one of the pillar of, I'm talking about just one pillar of Indian knowledge system. Next is astronomy. Again, another pillar of Indian knowledge system, what it offers. So astronomy was not just about stars. It was linked to agriculture, so timekeeping, and definitely rituals. It guides our Indian farmers to analyze the prediction cycle, or you can say the right time where they can go for farming. So that prediction cycles and all the information related to farming, they actually offer through this kind of astronomy. So the central idea behind all these, only two important pillars I have just discussed with you, that is life is interconnected, but knowledge, and that is, I'm talking about that knowledge system, that Indian knowledge system introduced to us, must serve the well-being of all. And that is definitely be the purpose of technology. Now, next thing is that what are the different pillars of, or you can say domain of Indian knowledge system. That begins with philosophy and ethics. And ethics is the most important concern where we're talking about technology, where we're talking about digital era, digital age. So philosophy like our Vedanta, our Sankhya, Nyaya pattern. So they all are exploring consciousness, reasoning, and ethics. And ethics, as I said, it definitely required, like that definitely reflect that how to use this and that type of technology, or any technological tool or anything, how we can use in our daily life. how, what is the right way of using this thing. So that is basically, so that ethics and ethical rules we require. And some of the companies I'm just sharing, share with one of the important example, that Indian company, Indian giant, that they have started using these ethical issues that they have basically taken from Indian knowledge system. Next is science and mathematics. We all know that is zero has been introduced, has been developed by India, yes or not? Decimal system. And same with astronomy, metallurgy, and of course in civil engineering. All this concept has been introduced in India, and that is an integral part of our Indian knowledge system. Next is, as I said, Ayurveda, medicine practices. You cannot imagine what a wonderful practices, medicine, medical practices that our ancestors were doing. We cannot imagine. Now we are using AI tool to predict the diseases. We are using, neural networks to identify the pattern. That is basically, this is the new thing. But now, that the concept or this type of things has already been used by our ancestors, our people, our Indian people. That is in a form of, wonderful medicine practices. And one of the thing is that Ayurveda, and of course yoga is also introduced by India, and now it is is being spreaded in entire world. The importance of yoga, siddha, preventive care, these all are things related to medicine. The next is education and learning system, and one of the example that you must have heard about in the current news, that is they have also again started Nalanda University, right? So what is that Nalanda University? Gurukul concept, Nalanda, Takshila, that models of holistic learning that our ancestors, we already, was using this kind of concept, learning concept in India. And now they are showing like, online learning, this kind of thing, that this the concept we, because this, these kind of Nalanda, Takshila, these universities, as definitely, the students, learners from the entire Asia, they actually being a student of this kind of universities. So we can say that the concept of global learning have already introduced in these universities, global universities. So next is ecology and environmental harmony. As I said, that the word, trending word now these days is sustainability, recycle. Now every entire industry, or everybody, not I'm talking about, everybody's talking about the word is, that is sustainability. So they are introducing, they are continuously innovating new ways, new practices to introduce environmental harmony. So that is harmony with panchbhutas we have already used. That is air, the study of air, a combination of air, water, fire, earth, and space, that we have already used, already using since our 1800 or 17th centuries. So that is basically the, you can say, the wonderful thing related to Indian knowledge system. And now if we're talking about the current scenario, we are defining it with the help of technology, we are defining it with the help of artificial intelligence. But all these kind of practices, we already part of these kind of practices. So this is not new thing for us. But the thing is that we need to indulge, we need to integrate it, Indian knowledge system, with our current using, or you can say currently using, or you can say these new technological tools that we all are using these days. So that integration is required to introduce ethical issues, to introduce ethical solutions. I think the best word is the ethical solution. And the most important thing is that the right information should be used for the right use. Whatever you are using, that should be used in the right manner and for the right purpose. That is what ethical defined us. So why the next thing is that why Indian knowledge system matters today's context, because we, why should we care about ancient knowledge? We have AI, as I said, we have a number of applications of AI. Everybody is developing mobile applications, developing websites. They want to be on the global platform, everybody, because technology alone is not enough. We need sustainability, we need ethics, as I said, we need holistic thinking, we need cultural grounding. And that Indian knowledge system is known for their wonderful, their culture. So the most important point that I want to discuss with you, that AI and its almost all tools gives you power. But Indian knowledge system gives us that wisdom of how to use that power, so that we can ensure that this thing is ethically is adopted or ethically used by the individual or the whatever they are people they are using. So that is AI. But now AI can only give power, but our knowledge system gives us wisdom that how to use that power. First thing. Second thing, we are everybody is talking about data driven decision making, data and information. So all this data with the help of technological tools gives us insights. I'm repeating my word, it just gives us insights. But Indian knowledge systems gives us the ethical compass to ensure the fairness practices of these tools. And we all, again, I said that we all need this kind of things, again part of ethical practices. So that digital world is global, I accept it, it is global, but our Indian knowledge system root us in values, in wisdom, like you must have heard about Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, may all be happy. So on that kind of concept our Indian knowledge system facilitates to us. So that is the beauty of Indian knowledge system. Like if we take an example of, just I've discussed with you Ayurveda, one of the important pillar of Indian knowledge system. They linked treatment with food, sleeping patterns and seasons. And now what these world is introducing, they are introducing the same concept. I can say that they've taken that concept and they have introduces n number of devices, whether it's a smart watches or a wearable devices that tracking your health, your heart rate, your walking steps. They're counting your steps, extra n xyz thing. They are basically tracking your health issues. So that is the concept they took, or it comes from Ayurveda, which emphasized on the overall development of the individual, whether it's about their study of their food pattern, what they are intaking, what their sleeping pattern, and the different their body temperature and all these things. They are including different things related to that a person or an individual. So that is now these smart devices are doing the same thing for us, right? And if you heard about calendar, which in Indian knowledge system and Indian culture we call it as a panchang, that is basically guides different things, that date, how to use that date, what in what particular date, what we can do in that particular date. So every minor details has been defined in that panchang, and it not only helps an individual but also the farmers to decide when they can go for farming, or other persons so they can start their work. So this kind of you can say accumulated data or knowledge we have, we have been using since our older times. So that is in a way of panchang, calendar, or the different pillars of the that our Indian knowledge system. So I'm trying to inculcate as many example as I can. So this is all about that different things. Now if we're talking about Indian knowledge system, so now next thing is that we talk about transmission of knowledge. So that is, it is basically the unique method of knowledge preservation and dissemination in ancient India that ensure its continuity and its depth. So knowledge in India was transmitted through three important things: Shruti, Smriti, and that important text that we return, to remember it. So now what is this concept you can see on the screen? Shruti, that which is heard. Shruti, that means that which is heard, that Vedas. So Vedas are memorized and passed orally from generation to generation with precision. That is the, you can say, beauty of our Indian knowledge system in a form of Vedas. Shruti. Next is Smriti. Smriti, that means related to memory, to rememberize. So that which is remembered. So text like the Mahabharata, Ramayana, Dharma Shastra, they all were codified based on memory and tradition. So again, the next thing related to Indian knowledge system. And later, this knowledge was also preserved in written manuscripts on palm leaves or copper plates. So this layer system ensure resilience. I'm repeating my word, this layered system, Smriti, then, that is basically Shruti, Smriti, and then written text, and then later on these written manuscripts on different forms like on palm leaves and copper plates. This layered system ensured resilience. Even if text were lost, oral memory safeguarded knowledge. So that is again the most important thing related to our Indian knowledge system. Next, you can see on the screen, Guru Shishya Parampara. Again, the one of the important, we can say, we known for Guru Shishya Parampara. So that parampara emphasized on mentorship. And now these days, you must have heard about whether colleges, university, they have even schools, they have started the concept of mentorship, where one mentor is handling this much of students, this much of learner, taking care of everything related to that learner. Yes or no? So that concept they took from Guru Shishya Parampara. So Guru Shishya Parampara emphasized on mentorship, but not on, just giving instructions or delegating the orders. No, they just taking care of their students, their learners, shishyas. The right word, in Hindi, it is called as shishyas. So Guru, who is Guru? Guru, teacher, was not just a teacher, but also a guide who was shaping the students, the learners, their values, their discipline, and their life path. And that is the importance and the responsibility of Guru towards their Shishya, right? And this Shishya, like learner, student, who known for basically the word comes from discipline. So they lived with Gurus in their ashram, or you can say Gurukul. So learning is the one of the aspect, and it is not only the one aspect. Learning not only subjects like grammar, mathematics, astronomy, Ayurveda, all the important pillars that I have discussed in third slide, important pillar of knowledge, but they also learn ethics, humility, community services, humanity. So that is the basic life learning skills they are taking from their gurus. So it's not about their, that is all about learning these knowledge related concepts, but the personal life skills they are, again getting from their issues. So this is the beauty of this concept, Guru Shishya Parampara. So this is very similar that, as I said, today's mentorship model that all these universities, schools are using in their, in their premises, or another word is startups, where the experienced person, the person is started their new concept, and they have started their research work. So where guidance goes beyond knowledge to shaping the character of student or the learner. So that is again the concept of this Guru Shishya Parampara. So oral traditions developed extraordinary memory techniques like data compression. And you must have heard about this word in technology, data compression, compressed data. We are using intact data, compact data to just getting the appropriate insights or appropriate information related to any context. So that concept is again taken from Indian knowledge system. So student practices multiple recitation patterns like Kramapada, Padapatha. So these is basically they are trying to learn new things, and is with the concept of avoiding different errors. So recitation is important tool of Indian knowledge system. And the third thing you can see on the screen, that is universities. As I said, Nalanda, Takshila, all was integral part of our Indian culture. So students from across Asia, they are studying in these kind of industry. Nalanda, Takshila, we known for knowledge, we known for cultural heritage of humanity. That is basically beauty of Indian knowledge system. So let's talk about Nalanda University. They are basically they attracted global scholars. That's why I'm using the word global universities. Now universities using these word global universities. So Nalanda attracted global scholars centuries before Oxford or Harvard, such kind of universities. So it is long before modern universities existed. So India had thriving centers of learning. Nalanda, you won't believe, they had 10,000 of learners, 10,000, and 2,000 teachers at that time. So it attracted learners from different countries, Asian countries, or beyond the Asian countries, Southeast Asia also. So that is the beauty of this particular university. So subject included all the different domain, like one university is running different type of courses, the same concept with Nalanda, that included logic, grammar, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, Buddhism. That is part of this, was part of the Nalanda universities. And if we talk about, if we compare it with Oxford and Harvard, so Oxford was found in 1096, Harvard in 16036. Nalanda was already a global academic hub century earlier. So this is, that kind of universities we already running in our ancient times. So that is the part of, that transmission of knowledge. So we are just, seeing the world with the help of technological tools like AI everywhere, AI, chat GPT, chat, that new things or new chat GPT kind of a number of platforms, Gemini, a number of things has been introduced. But when we look at today's knowledge economy, our digital platforms, social media platforms, so we actually need mentorship. We need accurate and proper data knowledge, right? Information I'm talking about, and global universities. We all are having global universities who are running a number of multidimensional courses. So we see that India had already experimented with similar models a way ahead, but grounded in wisdom, but grounded in discipline, and of course, we known for our Indian culture, our values, isn't it? So that is again a beauty of Indian knowledge system. So this is where digital, Indian knowledge system met with our digital edge, whether you are talking about any technological thing in that today's context. Fine. So they all have, taken the idea, actually taken up definitely from our important pillars of, from our Indian knowledge system that I have discussed with you. And again, a number of, you can say example, a number of intellectual giants I'm discussing with you. They have introduced amazing things to the world. So they all are Indians, definitely. Again, a good example, or you can say wonderful thing related to Indian knowledge system, isn't it? So you can see on the screen, few shining examples. Aryabhat, of course, what is the person known for? You can see on the screen, pioneering contribution to astronomy and mathematics, who have been introduced the concept of zero and planetary models. Next is Shushruta, wrote one of the earliest surgical texts, and now we are using AI tools for that in medical industry and doing surgery, all these things. But they have already introduced some of the important surgical procedures, even complex surgical procedures that even now today's doctors or practitioners still are struggling on that, or they are taking help of AI based tools, right? Chanakya, another wonderful example, who designed governance, who designed economic system that is still relevant in business schools, and their concept in their philosophies is still studied by our learners of business schools. Yes. Next is Patanjali, that gives us Yoga Sutras, that is guiding mental health today. And this is the biggest issue in the world in today's concept, that is mental health. So every company, every organizations are working on the mental health of their employees. And I'm not talking about the professional persons, even an individual is struggling with the mental health. So what they need yoga practices. They need to inculcate Indian knowledge system in their individual's life, in their personal life. Like not only these in an individual, even our ISRO, we know that Indian Space Research Organization of our India, these scientists are also, basically using or believing the concept of Indian knowledge system. So the scientists still credit the Aryabhat astronomical precision as their inspiration that they took from the important pillars of Indian knowledge system. Now, is it the time to define the digital edge so that we can integrate our Indian knowledge system to the digital edge? Right? So what do you understand by digital edge? We all are technologically sound, yes or not? We all are living in the digital edge. We are using social media platforms. We are using smartphones. We are using smart TVs. We are living in smart cities. We are using Internet of Things, where I can control, remotely I can control my every instrument, every electronic instrument of my home. So of the entire thing, wherever I want to connect with it. So this is the power of technology. Accept it. This digital edge, this technology comes up with connectivity, with speed, with AI technology that I've discussed with you, n number of technological things we are using these days. Even marketing companies are using chatbots to handle their customers' queries, their issues, where two or more person were required earlier. Now one chat GPT, one chatbot is using the work of 2 or 3 person. So we do not require that customer support service executives. Fine. So this is the, you can say, the power of technology, that we all are living in this kind of digital age. But metaverse, virtual world, we are realizing we are living the virtual life. So of course it is exciting, of course it is overwhelming, of course it is it sound wonderful, but we live in the age of abundance of information, but with the scarcity of wisdom. So for example, like one of the social media platform, Amazon, they're doing the prediction kind of thing with the help of AI. Like we all must experience that they are using AI based applications to these social media sites or e-commerce sites like Amazon, Myntra. They are offering that relevant product to us on our screen. How they are predicting the right thing, because they are using AI based application. And if we compare it with our ancient time, so ancient Indian traders, they also predicted, but they predicted demand using festivals, seasons, or the past purchase pattern of their customers. My thing is, my point is that in ancient time, our Indian traders were using the concept of same thing, past purchase pattern of their customer, and the same thing is being used by that AI based tools, isn't it? What AI does, what this prediction concept works on the past purchase pattern of the customers. Like if I purchased X thing in past or yesterday, so definitely that particular site will, or particular e-commerce site will offer me the relevant product with different colors, with different prices in my screen automatically, because they are doing the prediction work on the basis of the past purchase pattern of mine. Yes, so that is, now that thing has already been used by our ancient Indian people, Indian traders. First thing. Second thing, that like social media platforms, whatever you are taking, Facebook, you are taking Twitter, that is known for X now these days, they spread news instantly. Instant messenger, WhatsApp, and all these things. The same concept. Temple bells once did the same thing for us. So that is, again, we are connecting it with our ancient time. When we talk about, connectivity and speed, instant communication, we cannot live without WhatsApp messaging. So this is, now we can say, the beauty of information technology. But in ancient time, the same work was performed by efficiently, but whom? Pigeon post, that is basically known as doot, messenger, pigeons. They were doing the same thing for their parties, for their peoples, that they carried urgent royal messages with remarkable efficiency. The same thing performed efficiently by pigeons. You can't imagine pigeons, how they they actually you can say that trained the pigeons at that time. So the same way, if I'm taking an example of Google Maps, we cannot live without Google Maps. Where we want to move it, definitely we open that Google Map to find out any cities, any location, any particular thing. And that our new social media network are these instant messaging sites and instant delivery applications. They all are working on the concept of Google Map. So Google Map navigating cities, locations for us. Earlier, the same thing is performed by pathshalas or our community elders, the experienced persons who guided travelers, who guided us through their oral maps of forest and villages. They had, you can imagine how much, or at what level of idea, or at what level of experience the people had. So they can guide that in this, they want to go in this way in this cities, so how many distance they have to cover, and this how many forest, how many village, what could be the track. So everything they orally suggested you. So this is the power of Indian knowledge system. Experience matters a lot, and the same thing we are actually performing with the help of AI tools, with the help of technology. Nothing is new in that. We already, like all these things we have already experiencing in our Indian knowledge system. Now, if let's talk about AI based applications, that we cannot live or we cannot imagine our life. Everything now, ChatGPT, for everything we are actually typing few words and exploring all the knowledge. Google is the next thing. Now was a past thing. Now new thing is that ChatGPT, Gemini, and number of tools are available. AI tools are available. We can explore anything, any knowledge we can get, anything we can done through these kind of applications. So Netflix is also recommend showing different kind of algorithm. So the same thing our ancient storytellers was doing for us with the help of Panch Tatras. So they are doing the storytelling based on the listener's age and of course with the listener's mood. So same thing. And I'm talking about the prediction. So what their AI tools are doing, they're basically showing that prediction kind of thing for us by using n number of softwares, X, Y, Z. I'm not talking about or not taking the name of the softwares, but they are doing the prediction work, right? Arthasastra described the systematic spy network at that time. What? To predict threats in advance. So that kind of security network without any technology we were using, our ancestors were using with the help of Arthasastra. Isn't it a good thing? Isn't it wonderful thing? So we are talking about technology, but this technology definitely the root somewhere they took the concept from that Indian knowledge systems. Now let's talk about the next thing, that is opportunities of the digital age. You can see the wonderful things on the screen, global collaborations that we all looking for. Every individual, every organizations are working on collaboration so that they can spread their businesses, they can increase their profit. But if you're talking about to access the knowledge to in terms of innovation in science and business, so it of course it offers collaboration, access of global knowledge. I can say that because we are using social media networks, we are using internet, we are using world wide web to get any information. And innovation in science and business, you all are working on the concept of, as I said, sustainability, green marketing, and we are developing n number of mobile applications because we know we cannot live without our mobile phones. That is basically smart mobile phones. The right word is that smart mobile phone, isn't it? We cannot live without smartphones. So that's why organizations are creating n number of mobile applications to offer their product to services to us. So innovations, they are trying hard by developing applications, new websites, or new way of offering the product or facilities to the customers. And digital governance, our government is also converting their practices into digital practices. But that is, we're talking about the digital edge. So digital edge is powerful. It is an opportunity to revive its status as a knowledge leader. I accept it. But again, the thing is that it raises the important issue of ethical use, right use. So it is basically a wonderful opportunity for us, for individual, for organizations, for Indian people. But if you're talking about the ethical issues, the sustainability issues, when we talk about the concern related to environment, weather conditions, that we are definitely seeing that a number of weather disasters. So that is basically we are trying to avoid these kind of problems. So that is where we are facing such kind of issues. So my concern is to bridging worlds, Indian knowledge system and digital innovation. When we integrated both the technology, so it gives you a wonderful insights, acceptable solutions, whether it is all about ethics, whether it's about or sustainability. So it is what it offers a balanced or acceptable or ethical future to us. So that is where we need to integrate Indian knowledge system and digital innovation, right? So if you're talking about the challenges of digital edge, as I said, we cannot live without mobile phones. We cannot live without social media. We are dragging all the you can say different type of YouTube short videos, Instagram, a number of things. We are actually dependent on these things. These are integral part of our life. So digital stress, mental health issues, because that is the, you can say, the challenges or negative side of these technology. AI generated, as I said, misinformation, fake news, fake information. And if you talk about the technological, that is environmental impact of different data centers, privacy is the major concern, how we can avoid that. privacy, that we are using, different type of surveillance equipments, tools like cameras, digital cameras, and the organizations are using to monitor their employees. So these issues raises the, that concern towards privacy, surveillance, and definitely it definitely a major issue which hurt our privacy, isn't it? So this is the thing, is that how we navigate this problem, these kind of issues through digital landscape. So of course we have a challenges, and then we have a solution also, and that solution is being provided by our Indian knowledge system that you can see on the screen. This offers profound insights, timeless principles, and of course that we have just discussed important pillars of Indian knowledge system, whether it's our ethical issues or values, sustainable innovations are different pillars. So this thing gives us a basic thing to us, like if you're talking about digital blend. So dharma, which is talking about the responsibility, dharma, which we can relate it with AI governance. I'm talking about the word governance, set of rules, set of guidelines that is related to with the use, to the use of artificial intelligence. So when I connect with AI governance, we need to introduce AI governance. When we connect that AI governance with the help of that mantras or the basic concept that is being provided in dharma, so definitely it is a blending practices, one of the wonderful blending practices, where AI governance rules and guidelines has been designed, has been introduced, and definitely it is taken from dharma. Second thing is ahimsa and satya, that reduces any harmful things, misinformation, wrong practices in the world, where we want to connect with in the premises, in the city, in the world is the right word. Next is panch bhutas, that is the five thing we have, we actually made up of these five things. So we connect panch bhutas with eco smart cities, that in terms of protecting our air, our weather, or our all the different elements like water, how we protect water, how we can save water, how we can save our environment, which covers all these five elements of panch bhutas. So definitely we can develop the eco smart cities. Fine, I'm not talking about IoT cities, eco smart cities, which run on the concept of sustainability, which gives us a wonderful city, a wonderful life to live. Right? So next is yoga Ayurveda, which we have introduced, and now in the entire world, everybody has been realize the importance of yoga, and they are doing this thing, these kind of practices in their daily life. So this is basically human-centered well-being that we actually need. So I'm just giving you one of the examples, few examples where our multinational companies, our Indian governance, our our individual companies, small level, middle level companies, they have inculcated, they have introduced the concept of the Indian knowledge system in their working culture. In their working culture, I'm talking about, like our one of the important example is Infosys. So Infosys is basically works on the concept of dharma, right practices, ethical practices. So that is basically they are inculcating or taking sutras from Indian knowledge systems. So this is basically talking about blending of Indian knowledge system. The same way other companies also inculcating these kind of things. Next slide, you can see that in order to manage the stress that is again related to your mental health, and by using different type of modern tools, as I said, applications, mobile applications, smart TV, whatever digital tools you are using, your smartwatch, it could be anything. The most important thing is that how you can deal with this kind of things. So you need, basic thing is that you need to realize the importance of yoga principles. So that is how our ancient people practices yoga. So this is again to handle the stress, we can include yoga in our daily life. And not only I'm talking about the individual practices, even companies, multinational companies have introduced yoga for their employees. Even Microsoft, in their team meetings, I'm talking about the virtual meetings, they are dedicating the first 1 minute for yoga practice. Isn't it a wonderful thing? The same way the companies actually realizes the importance of yoga that is directly related to handling the stress, managing the stress, and mental health. So that is, everybody wants, every company wants their employee to be mentally strong, healthy. I'm talking about not healthy, I'm not talking about physically healthy. I'm talking about mentally as well as physical healthy. So this is how we can inculcate the all the pillars, or any pillar of Indian knowledge system in our daily life. So AI driven system and platform integration, you can see that there is a one important application, mobile application developed by US. So that is known as a Headspace. They took Indian meditation practices. I'm repeating my word. They actually, taken the concept of this Indian meditation practices, and then they have designed their applications, which actually they are mobile application basically they are offering. So that is basically through which that the practices do their yoga, meditation. They are suggesting the time, they are suggesting the the level of practices. So this is basically they have taken the concept from our Indian knowledge system, Indian meditation, and they are offering to the global audiences who are or users of their mobile applications. So that's way how ancient practices blend with digital platforms. Of course, these kind of applications focuses on mental health, relaxations, or you can say the sleeping pattern of their that users. So not only individual but corporate, different corporate houses, they are also introducing corporate welfare programs in their organizations, because they actually concern about their mental health of their employees. Again, I'm emphasizing on the mental health, because this is the major concern, major problem these days. So Ayurveda and digital health is basically an important concept. So this is Indian knowledge system. As I said, we have introduced the concept of zero decimal system. We already being using that concept of algorithms. So in terms of different formulas, Vedic math principles, our ancestors were already using that kind of concept in our daily lives. So now it's time from ancient stargazers to modern space explorers. So as I said, one of our important company, organization, Indian Space Research Organization that you can see on the screen, they also, as I said, they're also they have achieved remarkable feats in the space of science and satellite technology, because they took the important concept of different pillars of Indian knowledge system, and they actually believes in that. So this is basically, we can say that how different, not only our Indian organizations, other organizations are also emphasizing on the concept of Indian knowledge system. So if you're talking about Arthasastra, that is again Kautilya's Arthasastra, and in ancient Indian, you can say treatise, it's basically developed different economic policies, military strategies, and now we're talking about our military, our defense system is taking the concept of the strategies, whatever Arthasastra Kautilya has been suggested in their Arthasastra, they have taken idea from there and including their in these kind of concept in their practices. So that is, we actually using the ancient concept that's a part of Indian knowledge system. So next wonderful example is that evolving education. Now everybody is talking about digital platforms, online platforms, SWAM platform, that is government, and now n number of private platform is also available. Coursera, where there is n number of academy, Khan Academy, and n number of example is there. We're spreading knowledge, education through these digital platforms. Gurukul system, as I've already discussed with you, that is basically emphasized on personalized learning. We are already using since our past time, and this is basically bridging the gap. So integrating the wisdom of Gurukul by using that virtual world, that technology we are talking about, then when we integrating both concept is basically foster both knowledge and character, and that is the one of the thing related to Indian knowledge system, which we can connect with our technology, with our online virtual platforms. And now we're talking about business management, our business schools, big business houses, big business schools. They have also using the concept of Bhagavad Gita that you can see on the screen, and Chanakya's Arthasastras, where they have introduced different strategies, different related strategies related to economic principles, different type of risk, study of different type of risk, management of resources, management of stress, competitive, how to gain the competitive edge over competitors. Chanakya Arthasastra has included all the concept they have developed. Already they have developed all these kind of concepts, which our business schools, or any business schools, are actually taking the concept, taking these kind of insights from Arthasastra. Again, isn't a beauty of Indian knowledge system? Because we are talking about technology, but again we are basically taking the idea, insights from our these ancient wisdom, I can say treasure, the right word is treasure, of Indian knowledge system. Bhagavad Gita, they are taking principles or teachings from Bhagavad Gita, how to live life, how to do leadership, the ethical leadership. The right way is that ethical leadership, how to go for decision making. That of course for decision making we are using n number of softwares now in these days. But if you're talking about the concept, the basic idea, the formula, that is again we are taking help of Bhagavad Gita. So not our I'm talking about individual business houses, business schools, they all are teaching the insight, they're taking insights or teaching the important concept of Bhagavad Gita and Chanakya's Arthasastras. That is the important thing. Again, wonderful thing related to our Indian knowledge system. So my concern is that we are talking about n number of things, yoga and Ayurveda, culture, diplomacy, everything. But now next thing is that how we navigate the path forward. So of course we are celebrating our heritage, but we must critically engage with it. Now, it's not all about, we are talking about, of course, we are working on sustainability. We are, I'm reading that Arthasastra, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, I'm working, every day I'm reading Ramayana, I'm, or using the principle in my daily life. But it is not all about talking. It's actually about how we actually implement it in our daily life. Our individuals, I'm talking about practical implementation of these concepts that has been introduced by our ancestors, that is part of Indian knowledge system. So it's all about, not about thinking. It's all, and the major concern is that how to validate that when we are going to start the practical implementation of these sutras, these concepts, whether it's a yoga, Ayurveda, medical practices, any pillar of that Indian knowledge system. So that is talking about the practical implementation. Right now, the next word is that when we imagine the smart future, where we actually see the important terminology, sustainability, or Internet of Things, where we're talking about the good weather conditions, good environment, a healthy environment we are looking for, and of course with the technological interaction, the technological things that you can see on the screen, AI tools, there are different types of sensors, IoT, Internet of Things, as I said. So that is basically we should go for that, but with the collaboration, but with the integration of ancient wisdom that you can see on the screen. So Indian talking about is basically, that is the future of, and what we see, the vision 2047, where how we can imagine our India in 2047. That is, we are totally completely embedded all the important pillars of Indian knowledge system in our daily life. I'm using the simple word in our daily life. It automatically reflected in your professional life, right? So of course we are getting more technologically advanced, but deeply human centered, because we actually inculcate all the basic principles of our different pillars of that is basically Indian knowledge system. So that is the one, in one word, technology with the ancient wisdom, because we need to inculcate the value, the tradition, the culture of our Indian knowledge system, isn't it? So cultivating future skills through Indian knowledge system gives you mindfulness, of course, that is full of knowledge, full of awareness, that if you're talking about Arthasastras, any strategies, any policies, any risk management, any stress management techniques, we can take from there. Ethical decision making, if you want to go for ethical, we are actually not dependent on our technological tools or AI based. We can take help of principles of dharma or arthasastra or whatever sastra, different type of sastra, Vedas and all these things, we can take as an base of for this kind of decision making. And I'm talking about ethical decision making, because continuously I'm emphasizing on the word ethical, because ethical can only be ensured by this our Indian knowledge system that comes up with wisdom, right? Wisdom, values, and that resulted into creativity, innovation, new things, or I can say the better sustainable practices for our world, for our environment, for our weather conditions, and of course comes up with problem solving techniques, whether we are going for solving the mental issues with the help of stress management techniques or different yoga practices in our daily life. So this is the few things related to Indian knowledge system. I hope you all got my idea, you got my concept. That is the wonderful thing that belongs to our India, that our ancestors were using, and now we are also using. But what we are doing that, how we defining that we are using technology, we are using AI tools, but all this concept came from the important pillars of Indian knowledge system. So timeless wisdom, if we are looking for powerful tools, digital tools, which ensure the ethical use of these technological tools. If we are looking for sustainable futures, that is, we need to work on synergy. Synergy means that I have discussed with you. Synergy is the integration of ancient wisdom that is definitely suggested by Indian knowledge system, along with our technology, whatever latest technology we are using. So we can imagine, we can create a foundation for ethical, smart, and resilient societies. And resilience word, Arthasastra, we can take n number of ideas from there. So that is basically the importance, the beauty of Indian knowledge system. So this is the quote that you can see on the screen. Ancient wisdom is important if you're talking about modern science. So the foundation should be of our Indian knowledge system. So we can go a way ahead. We do not need to depend on our technological tools, even AI or any chat GPT or Gemini and that kind of AI tools. Because our Vedas, our Shastras, are on all the pillars of Indian knowledge systems are enough. Just we need to inculcate, we just need to exercise these practices in our daily life. Isn't it? So that's it from my side. If you have any